BYU football spring practices are a wrap. Mitch Harper, Matt Baiamonte inside the student-athlete building here in Provo, Utah. 15 practices completed. And I got to say, Matt, I thought we learned a lot in this final practice. I thought, we'll start off with the quarterbacks. No answer yet on who's going to be the starting quarterback, both neck and neck, Gerry Bohanon, Jake Retzlaff. But I thought both quarterbacks looked really good today.
It was probably the best day offensively that we saw. A lot of 2-minute drill. Bohanon had the first crack at it. It was a kind of a mix. There was a lot of first team, but a few second team guys in there as well. So you can't really read into ones, twos. I think there was a lot of shuffling, but he led a nice drive. It did stall right at the end, and they kicked the field goal with Will Farron. I thought he had maybe the throw of media observation throughout spring ball. It was a far hash opposite side to Chase Roberts. It needed good arm strength. It needed velocity. It had it. It was on target. That was really nice to see from Gerry, and Jake had some moments as well.
Both quarterbacks, I think, feel confident coming out of spring that they've done enough to earn the job. Both quarterbacks noted that they got even reps in spring ball, and Aaron Roderick said they will not be pursuing another quarterback in the post-spring window. So these guys that we saw in spring, the 8 quarterbacks that are in that quarterback room, that's who they're going to go with. I'm sure there'll be some attrition on the back end of the quarterback unit, but Gerry Bohanon and Jake Retzlaff, those will be your 2 guys leading BYU at the quarterback position.
It felt like it was heading that way at the start of spring ball. So much time has been put into Jake, and now that Gerry's had a spring ball, there's just not enough time and reps to bring someone new in, Mitch, and expect him to learn this offense. Aaron Roderick prides himself on running a complicated in a good way scheme. There's a lot of deception. There's a lot of motion. There's a lot of pieces. It's not easy to just come in after spring ball, learn the offense, develop the trust with the teammates. That's another thing. One of the themes of spring ball, Mitch, has been continuity and chemistry, something that was not there last year. You go out and get another quarterback, that's gone. So it makes sense to me, and I think they've shown enough to where let's see what they can do in the fall. And if it doesn't work out, then you regroup. But to me, it never made sense, Mitch, that you would, after spring football, go out and try and grab someone and expect him to be the starting quarterback.
The nice thing about BYU, they always perform well as a program and a team with low expectations. Expectations will be low for this group, but I do think they've got the ability to potentially surprise. One thing that was positive for Jake Retzlaff in all of spring, this according to Aaron Roderick, 0 interceptions. We saw great quarterback play from Zach Wilson, Jaron Hall. What was the common theme in those guys? They never threw picks, and they became NFL draft picks. Not saying that's going to be the end goal or end spot for Jake Retzlaff, but if he can take care of the football, BYU can win some games, because you would have beat Oklahoma last year if you take care of the football. You would have beat Oklahoma State if you take care of the football. So that's a positive step in the right direction for Jake.
Though we nearly had one today. I thought Rex was going to pick that one off on a drive. The safety play today was great. I thought Ethan Slade had a moment where he cut off a deep route, and that was an incompletion. We just talked about the Rex play. Tommy Prasis had it would have been a bone-crunching hit on Parker Kingston over the middle. Zion Allen, the defensive back, made a nice play on a Retzlaff drive that forced a field goal that was missed by Matthias Dunn. So great play on the back end defensively. You have to be impressed and excited about what you saw defensively this spring.
And following up on defensively, we don't highlight those highlight plays enough out of these spring recaps, but Ace Kafusi, he got a sack, what was whistled a sack on Jake Retzlaff. The offense with Retzlaff did have a false start penalty. Got to clean up those things, especially on practice 15, and that'll be something to monitor. Talking with Connor Pay here in some post-spring exit interviews, man, he just spoke glowingly about TJ Woods and what he's brought to that offensive line unit, the accountability piece. Look, I think they need more depth on that offensive line, and even Aaron Roderick said that's going to be an area where they'd like to add a few more bodies, maybe in the portal, potentially if they're fits. But I think there will be steps or strides, forward progress with this offensive line, I think, this year.
No doubt, and that was actually one of the takeouts from this final practice we saw. That false start you mentioned, TJ Woods, and there was a lot of people there, a lot of media, some friends, some family. TJ Woods lit into the offensive line. I like to see that. And Connor Pay did mention the accountability, the intensity, but to see that in action, they need to be held to the fire, because the offensive line, if they're not good, look, BYU fans are watching this. You've watched a lot of BYU football. It's no secret. When you have a good offensive line, Mitch, you win a lot of football games. And when you don't, it's hard to move the football. This offensive line's got to be better. TJ Woods was the number one reason why Connor Pay returned this season. After having talking with him, this guy's going to help me get to the next level. That was music to my ears to hear that from Connor and then to see it in practice.
Defensive line, I think, is an area where it's wait and see, but I think there were some positive signs developing. And Jay Hill noted some of the best players on the defense this year might not be joining until the summer. I thought that was a noteworthy comment from Jay Hill. I think there's high expectations for Asani Tuwala, who's been around the program. He'll be joining officially this summer. Falatau Satuwala joins the program from Bountiful High School. There's talent, but I like just the overall competition that's happening in this BYU program coming out of spring. There might not be the clear, decisive 11 that you say right now, day 15 at spring ball, that these are your 11 starters, but I like the battles that are happening to get to that point.
Yeah, it's clear from spring football, there's great depth at nearly every position. Maybe cornerback, you're a little worried about the depth there, but you also have the star in Jacob Robinson that maybe can cover that up. But safety, loaded. Linebacker, loaded. Defensive line, maybe a little depth issues there as well, but you have a tremendous top group that if they can stay healthy, I think they will be more productive than they were last year.
And I think it's just a comment or just kind of a concern of how does it stack up in the Big 12. And I think that's just still the unknown. We've talked about it on Cougar Sports Saturdays that by BYU standards, you look across the practice field, this is a good-looking team, but this is a new standard now in the Big 12, a 16-team Big 12 with your rival in the mix and the chase to, go pursue a Big 12 title because year one, there was a lot of surprise. I think one of the themes that came out of spring, too, was the physicality, the size of the players in the Big 12 did catch this program off guard a little bit last year. I think the coaches did everything they could say to players like, hey, this is a step up. Because I think the narrative out there is, Big 12, it's pass happy, they're not that physical, 70 to 69 scores. No, this Big 12 is a lot more physical than people give them credit for. And I think these players understand that now, and you hope that education now of learning what this league is like physicality-wise can help them for the battles coming up in the fall.
And to piggyback off that, Mitch, it's been interesting to hear a lot of the players throughout spring and now that it's over talk about their summer plans and how a lot of them are going to stay here. They're going to work with this strength staff. They believe in this strength that they're helping them maintain their weight, put on the muscle, get in game shape. That is a positive development that the players are bought into the strength and conditioning staff because, like you said, the Big 12, the Big 16, really, it's another level. They've got to level up, and there's buy-in from this program on what the strength staff has done.
It's going to be a fun spring, summer, and we'll get you ready for BYU football 5 months from now. Cougars are going to be kicking off against Southern Illinois. Of course, you can listen to the games on KSL News Radio. All the coverage throughout the offseason, KSLSports.com. Matt and I will hold it down on Cougar Sports Saturday, noon to 3 every Saturday. And, of course, check out our bylines on KSLSports.com, KSL5 TV, and the KSL Sports Zone. So check out all that content on KSL Sports.